Hey guys, it's Cassie. Welcome back to my channel. So today I have part 2 of our start to finish journal series. In this video we are going to be preparing the journal pages to be sewn into the journal cover. So I'm just going to kind of flip through the pages that we have selected. About half of them are pages from my own digitals. And I've linked all the digitals that I used in the description box of the video in case you would like to check those out in my Etsy shop. The other pages are a variety of vintage recipe book pages, ledger pages, and then I've also got some hand-dyed papers. I know I want to use a page from Maggie Holmes' Bloom paper set, so I'm just flipping through and picking out the paper, and I decided on this yellow and kind of greenish floral page. I think it just fits really well with the journal theme, and so I just have kind of pulled it out. And now I'm going to actually clean up some of the threads inside the cover and kind of glue down the excess fabric inside. This just helps a lot with like the buckling of the inside cover. I've noticed that when the fabric around the edges is kind of loose, like you can see it's moving when I use my fingers on it, it actually causes some buckling or bubbling in the inside lining of the journal cover. So I'm just going to use some 3-in-1 glue. This is essentially the same thing as Fabri-Tac, and just glue down all the edges that are kind of loose. I also did cut a little slit in the fabric piece right at the spine of the journal, just because it was pulled a little bit tight, and I knew that that would actually create some bubbling in the cover as well. So if you just cut a little slice in the fabric piece to the point where you've stitched around the edge, that actually helps relieve that. So now I'm just going to sit with this piece for a while and kind of play with the layout for the inside of the journal cover. So I know I want to create some pockets and tuck spots out of ephemera pieces that Lisa sent me in my design team pack. And so I'm just pulling pieces out and just kind of auditioning them with the liner paper. And at this point I have decided that I think I want to use one of these seed packets, and I do go with this carrot package. But yeah, you'll see that I just kind of audition it for a bit and yeah, just kind of work on like trimming things down and making them fit right. And yeah, I did decide at this point to move all of my other papers out of the way so that I don't ruin them with the glue, or you know, cutting them or something like that. So I at this point have decided that I want another pocket, so like a side tuck pocket and then kind of a corner tuck spot made from the carrot envelope. And so now I'm just marking the liner, like the inside cover page, using the textile cover that we made in the last video. And I'm just marking like 1/8 of an inch inside to where on all sides the piece of paper will be 1/8 of an inch shorter than the textile cover. Again, I never really measure anything with a ruler. After measuring the dimensions for the cardstock that I used for the base of the cover, I never really measure anything after that. So yeah, I just use the cover itself to make sure everything is going to fit and use that as my basis for measurement. So here I'm just trimming down the lining paper, and then I will trim down the piece that I'll use as my side pocket. I did forget to mark the top dimension on this cover piece, so I do have to go back and actually measure again and mark that piece. By the way, I'm using a pen because I could not find a pencil. Normally I would mark everything with a pencil, but I'm just marking it ever so lightly, just right along the edge. So the marks will not be noticeable at the end. Yeah, so I really hope that you guys are enjoying this series so far. I'm having so much fun making this journal, and I really hope that you guys are finding some value in it. Let me know in the comments what you like about the series so far. If there's anything that you wish I would do differently in the future. Maybe add some music or talk a little bit louder, anything. If you guys need me to speed the video up or cut out parts, just let me know in the comments. I'm obviously kind of experimenting with this format a little bit. Like, I realize that I just kind of jabber on and don't do much crafting if I like talk and tell you my process as I'm doing it. So I'm trying this voiceover thing. Not really sure how well you guys like it. So let me know in the comments what you think. And yeah, I have actually had a few messages from the textile cover tutorial. A few of you guys have actually tried making your own, and it's been so exciting to see those projects in my inbox. So I'd love to see that. Definitely tag me on Instagram if you're not nervous about posting it publicly, or just send me a DM. I'd love to see it. It doesn't matter what it looks like. I'm just so excited that people are using my tutorials. So yeah, I'm just pulling out a few more pieces from my little mini stash that Lisa sent me. And at this point I do decide I'm just going to stick it in a box so I don't have to keep pulling things out of this envelope and putting them back in. So I've just grabbed a little letterbox lid and I'm using that now. So now I'm just going to fold everything. I have, I guess, sat with this for a little while and decided that yes, I do like it and I want to use this for the inside of my journal. So that's some advice for you guys too. If you're not 100% sold on something right away, just sit with it for a little while. Walk away, grab a cup of coffee, come back to it and just see if you still love it. And I'm not saying like overanalyze or, just never make a decision. Like, sometimes there's some value in, just making your gut decision. Whatever you go with initially is probably the best choice, because sometimes we do overanalyze and overthink our choices a bit, and I call that analysis paralysis. So I try to avoid that, and but yeah, I do audition things and kind of sit with them for a minute just to make sure that my initial judgment is still correct. So yeah, here I have just kind of distressed the Maggie Holmes papers a bit, and like I want them to look vintage and feel used, so I did just do that a tiny bit. I did decide to use this milk bottle cap, and I'm just going to attach it to the pocket eventually. Here I am opening the top of the seed packet. Like, I was so inspired by my gardening with linen this spring, and we ripped the tops off of all our seed packets. So they're just kind of mangled and used, and so I wanted that seed packet to actually have kind of the same feel. And so I'm just ripping it open a little bit, not like destroying it, but just ripping it open using my letter opener and my finger, and I'm just tearing off the corners a little bit. I do think that I actually ink it a tiny bit too, just like someone took it out into their garden and dug in the soil and planted the seeds right there. And yeah, so that's kind of the feel that I was going for. And I think that it turned out really nice. I do just glue the little flap on the bottom closed. But yeah, I wanted to create kind of a third little pocket, I guess, out of the seed packet. So yeah, this turns into like a 3-pocket front cover, which I think is really great. So yeah, I'm just going to staple the little milk bottle cap onto the pocket. It's totally non-functional, but just for decoration only. I guess you could tuck something behind it, but yeah, I just intended it to be decorative only. And then I'm going to glue the seed packet and then the larger pocket down. So yeah, I'm just making sure everything closes nicely and like there's no edges hanging out when you close a journal, which happens sometimes. Like if that happens, it's totally normal. But just trim it down. I probably should have checked it before before I glued everything, but it's okay because it all worked out. So my next step is to glue the inside lining to the textile cover. And you can see I'm just being super generous with my glue. I started in the spine and just made a bead of glue around the edge, but not directly where my sewing machine will stitch. I try not to stitch over glue if I can help it. Like sometimes you glue a pocket down and like there's nothing you can do about it. You have to stitch over that. But yeah, I try not to glue directly where I'll be stitching. But yeah, I am super generous with this glue because I want the cover to stick together really well. So I don't glue the fabric to the cover, but I do glue the paper to the inside of the cover, if that makes sense. Like I had a few people message me and kind of comment that they were surprised I didn't glue any of my fabrics down. And really the only time I glue a fabric on the cover is if it's like a small ornate trim that's going over several other layers, like something that I don't want to like have the threads showing on the decoration. And so yeah, I'll glue those pieces, but otherwise I try not to glue my fabrics on my cover. So yeah, I did just show you guys like I was gonna trim all the papers, all the white edges off my digitals, because yeah, that obviously is not supposed to be there. So I trimmed all those off, and now we're getting started, kind of working on laying out our pages the way they'll be in the journal. So these 2 pages I want to kind of connect down the middle, and this is something totally new. I've never done this page style before, like where there's a middle tuck spot, like from the outside in, I guess, and attached in the middle. So they're like 2 smaller size pages that I've connected to be a larger page. And so yeah, you can see kind of how it's going to end up I'm probably not explaining it exactly right, but yeah, it turns out really cool. And so yeah, I'm just trimming down the top. Again, I never really use scissors or cutting like a paper trimmer to cut down my papers. I always just rip them if I can help it. It just makes it feel more lived in and like an actual junk journal that way. So now I'm just kind of fiddling around with my papers, but I'm going to pick out a little piece to add to this, just kind of as an embellishment. I know that I'm going to stitch my trim, my sari silk ribbon, down the middle of the pages, which I don't actually get to in this video. Like, we're going to do all our stitching in the next video, so if you're looking for that, sorry, it's in the next one. But yeah, I'm just kind of finger pressing this sari silk ribbon a little bit and trimming it down to the correct size. I do want it to hang out the ends a little bit on either end of these pages, and I've just picked out like a little coupon to add in. And I was going to glue it down, but I decided to just sit with it for a little bit. That's something that I do quite often actually with my journal making. So if I'm not totally sure about something, again, I'll just kind of sit on it for a little bit and think, or come back to it and make sure it's something that I like and want to commit to. So yeah, I'm just going to go through and kind of trim down pages and make them to where they'll fit in my journal. And I have this little tiny metal ruler, but I can't actually find it. I really, really need to organize my office, you guys. Like, it is a mess. And yeah, so I'm kind of struggling with finding things a little bit, and that frustrates me. So yeah, I'm just using my ruler and or just folding things down and ripping them. And yeah, so I'm just going to go through and kind of fold things down, rip them, trim them up to be the correct size for the journal. And yeah, I'm going to let you guys watch this process. I'll pop on and kind of explain things that I think maybe are not exactly self-explanatory. But otherwise, it's just going to be music for the rest of the video until I get to the next section. So I know that I want this page, this digital page, to be the first page in my journal, and I'm not exactly sure how I want it to be. I just know that I want this big, big floral piece that you can see, that big orange flower, to show when you open the front of the journal. And so I'm just going to fold it into kind of a trifold, and that way it'll have kind of a tiered appearance when stacked with the other pages. So yeah, I'm just checking how it will look when you open the journal. And yeah, then I'm going to trim it down, or kind of rip it to be kind of an angled corner tuck. And eventually in the next video, I'll show you guys, I'm going to stitch that bottom section down so that it actually does become a tuck spot at that point. On this one, I knew I was going to either lose the picture that you guys can see right now, or part of the telegram illustration people's heads. So I opted for losing the picture, just because I feel like that part is just a small detail on that page, and the mother and child are kind of like the main feature of that telegram, so I decided not to lose them. But that's something that you kind of run into sometimes, I guess, with digitals, or really any kind of paper. It's like weighing your option on which part of this page do I want to lose when I fold down my paper or trim it somehow. And yeah, like it's just kind of like checking layout a little bit. And here, this page again is kind of the same thing. Like, I lost the bottom section of that digital, which is fine. Like, I like all parts of it, and so it's fine to lose part of it. But yeah, that's just, that's always an issue, I guess, with making journals from pages that already existed and weren't made exactly for that journal cover, if you will. It's totally normal, part of the process, and it's okay. So yeah, now I have folded all of my pages, and so now I'm just going to decide kind of on order of the pages, like where I want them to go in the journal. And I know I want this lady mowing her lawn to be the centerfold, and but I don't want two pages with illustrations or two digitals to be right next to each other. Two ledger pages, etc., etc. So I'm just going through and kind of reorganizing how my pages are ordered, and then we'll go through and kind of embellish a tiny bit and finish folding up the last pages that are still a little bit long, or trimming them down. So I kept trying to figure out where I wanted to put these two yellow pages, and I eventually decided it's just too much yellow. Which I love yellow. Yellow is a favorite color of mine, and but yeah, I just decided, like, let's just take this lined paper out and tuck it in somewhere as like an extra journaling spot inside the pages. So I also think that's okay, like picking out your papers to begin with, and as you're reordering them, if there's a page that doesn't exactly fit anymore, or you're not exactly happy with it anymore, to just be okay with that and take it out and reevaluate. So yeah, now I'm deciding what to do with the boy. And I decided I'm just going to cover him up with this vintage bingo card from Lisa, and just kind of make like a little inside tuck spot again. So yeah, I'm just going to glue down this bingo card to be a corner tuck inside. And I think it works well. I think it still fits with the colors. And you can't really tell, like the background paper, you can't tell that there was a boy picture behind there. So part of the Patreon exclusive ephemera kit that I made was actually that same picture, like separated from the rest of the paper pack. So I think I might actually go back and kind of print that off and include it somewhere else in the journal so that he's not totally gone. But yeah, he's just somewhere else. So now I'm going to go back and deal with this this experimental page that we were working with earlier. And all I'm going to do is kind of glue my sari trim or sari silk ribbon to the spine of the papers or the inside edge of the papers on the non-pocket side. So, I mean, that's a personal choice. I just decided I'm going to do it on this side. You could totally do it on the other side too, or instead. And again, this is totally an experiment. Was not sure how it was going to turn out when I started making it. But I do like how it turned out. So yeah, it was kind of fiddly because I did not press or like actually iron my ribbon first, and so I kind of cut that part out, where I was, trying to make it lay flat. A word to the wise, just iron it. I know I do not like ironing anything. Like I rarely iron my things, especially for crafting. So yeah, just iron it. It's fine. But yeah, I did not, and it was kind of a pain to get it to lay flat. So yeah, I've decided also that I'm going to glue these two pages to be kind of a larger size paper. It's something that I used to do a lot in my journals, and I haven't done it so much anymore. So I thought I would bring that back and do a glued together page, and I think it really adds to, again, like that kind of lived in, worn look, something that someone has just kind of put together from things in their life. And it's also a much nicer size, I guess, for journaling. Like, I don't mind a half-size page every once in a while, but I don't like two together, and I don't like too many in a journal. And so I'll try and, make them to be the full length of the journal. So now everything fits. Our journal is really coming together, and yeah, so now we're just going to go through and kind of embellish some of the pages, kind of take up some of this white space that's on this one. So I'm just deciding like what kind of papers I want to use over the white space, and I'm just going to glue down some of this piano roll paper. And then on the other side, I'll do some vintage, like, lined ledger notebook paper. I don't know what it is exactly. It was just in my stash, and I thought it goes with the color scheme, so let's use it. So now everything's kind of glued down, and I just use like my fingers to finger press everything down. You can use kind of a bone folder or press it down somehow, but I just use my hands. And then I did just rip my edges down with my ruler. You can use scissors. I just used my ruler because I kind of like that ragged, torn look in my paper edge, so I don't mind it. And now I'm just going to add a few little edge embellishments to this page, just to kind of break up that green on the bottom. So I'm going to add some yellow to kind of tie in with the florals from the menu, and then I'll add a label. Again, I don't really have a plan as I'm going through this journal. I'm just kind of like seeing what feels right and going from there. So I'm going to audition a few different pieces here and just decide like which one I like the best. And I think I end up using this one. yeah, this label. And yeah, so I'm just going to glue it down and kind of fold over the bottom edge. I never try to glue anything down exactly neat or straight because, again, kind of that used, worn look. Like this is someone's journal that they are putting together from things from their life. So now I'm just going to do kind of a little flip through of my own journal and just kind of see how it feels to me. Yeah, I kind of audition things in different spots in the journal kind of before I commit to adding them to the journal. I don't know how else to explain that, but I'll pick out a piece that I think I want to use and kind of flip through and, see where I can use it and see how I like it. But if I don't love it, that's okay. Like, I'll use it somewhere else or in some other project, and that's okay. But yeah, on that page spread, this one, it just feels so brown to me. And so I want to add a little bit of color and kind of break up that brown with a vintage playing card. And I also realized that the date on the ledger actually read December. And this journal is very like spring and summer feel, I believe, or that's how I feel about it. And so I'm just like, I covered that part up. So now this is the last piece that I'm going to attach in this video. I hope you guys have really enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video. But I am going to explain kind of what I decided to do with this piece. I wanted to have it visible, like make it visible from the front cover. Like when you open the journal, you can see it. It's got a prominent spot. So I decided to make kind of a double tuck spot out of this page, but it won't actually take form completely until I stitch down the edge of the page. And I might add a ruffle or like a tab or something when I'm doing my stitching. Like I have not decided on any of that yet. But here I'm just going to glue this down. So I'll fold it and then I will actually glue the back side down and just run a bead of glue along the front side to create kind of that tuck spot on the front. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're not already, please subscribe and hit the little notification bell so you know when I post a new video. Again, I'm posting these videos in this series on Wednesdays and Saturdays until we're finished. But yeah, until next time, thanks so much for watching and happy crafting.